Hey guys, Chris here with Jesse from Cousins RV. We're going to be winterizing a couple of RVs today, and Jesse's kind enough to show us the ropes and let us see how it's done by a pro. So let's dive into it.
Awesome. So first things first, we're going to want our 2 to 3 gallons of antifreeze, non-toxic antifreeze, a screw gun, and first thing here, we're going to bypass the water heater. So we'll head on inside here. So the water heater in this unit is right under the kitchen sink, kind of in the corner here. So once you get into the cabinet, you can see that you've got a valve on top, a valve in the middle, and a valve on the bottom for the water heater. We're going to close the top and bottom valves and open the middle valve so that water can bypass the water heater. I'll go ahead and do that real quick.
And so the purpose of bypassing the water heater is so that you can allow the antifreeze to travel through the rest of the pipes and the rest of the system without wasting a whole bunch of the antifreeze as it goes into the hot water heater. It probably won't do a whole lot of damage if you did accidentally get it inside there. However, it's best to keep it out.
Absolutely. And if you do get antifreeze into the water heater, just run some fresh water through with the plug open and you could get all that out of there. So we'll switch over here to the water pump. The water pump in this unit is underneath the refrigerator. So you can see underneath here that we've got 2 valves. The valve on the back side is going to be for this Winterize hose, and then the valve on the top is going to be going directly to the fresh water tank. So we'll go ahead and close the fresh water tank valve and open the Winterize valve, and now the water pump will be pulling from this Winterize hose. And we'll put this hose into our gallon of antifreeze here. And now from this point, we're ready to turn on the pump and start winterizing the faucets. So let's find the pump switch, probably in the bathroom. All right. So our water pump switch is right here on this panel. Little red button here. Go ahead and turn that guy on. Looks like we don't have power, so I'll go plug us in real quick.
Sure. So when you connect it, you can either run it off of the battery or off of shore power. Shore power is going to be the provided choice on this one. Let's walk up to the front real quick and see if we have a battery on this rig. I assume so, and yes we do, but it's probably just not fully ready to go. But you can see right up front here where the battery connections are, and we just got connected to shore power.
Alright, so we got our power connected here, and I left our water pump switch on, so now it's pulling from our low points, so I'll go ahead and close those off.
We started to get a little pink out of there too.
Yep, started to get a little pink out of there. So it's always good to go around before you start and make sure those low points are closed. In this case, we were able to catch it while we were out here. But
on an RV, does that vary? I assume in between, like how many low point shutoff valves you have?
Right. Some units only have the hot and cold, and some units just don't have any. So
gotcha.
It's just good to know depending on
Absolutely.
what coach you have.
And when it comes to the winterization additions, which I've seen on here, some of the bypasses and stuff, does that come standard on most of the trailers and RVs, or is that an additional piece which is added on by somebody like yourself or by
and you're referencing like the Winterize hose?
Yeah.
So on all of these small units, they all typically have that hose from the manufacturer. In some rare cases on older units they don't, but if you don't, you could just unplug the inlet side of the water pump, and then connect your own hose to go to the gallon of antifreeze.
And then you can just pull straight from the antifreeze through the pump. And
exactly.
Good to go. Cool. All right.
now we got our pump on. All of our valves are closed. So now we can start running all of the faucets until they run pink. So I'll go ahead and start it here. I do the hot side. Let that run until it's pink, just like that. Do the cold side. Cold side's going to be a little bit faster usually because it doesn't have as much of water lines to go through. And then I'll just do a little bit more. That way we ensure that we have antifreeze in the P-trap on the drain side of it. That way our P-trap drains don't freeze. So now we'll do the toilet. And that's good there. Shower.
Just as you're going through these, do you just kind of start at one end and work your way forward?
Yeah, exactly. So in this case, we're kind of starting in the back. Keep that open. So now it's looking like we're about out of our first gallon of antifreeze. So now that the shower's done, we'll go ahead and swap that gallon out. On most small units, it'll take exactly 2, maybe a little bit less, and then on the fifth wheels, it'll take about 3. Oh. Get the kitchen sink over here.
Really close to the source.
Yep, really close to the source. Let it pressurize again. So at this point, it's pretty much all antifreeze.
Yep.
Now we'll go ahead and head outside and make sure that there's no outdoor showers, outdoor kitchen faucets. So, we do have our one outdoor shower right here.
It's not nearly as much air in the lines as I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, not too bad.
I mean, the kitchen sputtered and spit a little bit,
Yeah,
but really
and
not bad at all.
That's basically just because when that first gallon runs out, it sucks a little bit of air through. So
That
then when we
makes sense.
swapped it out, it had to get all those air
Big
bubbles
old
out.
air pocket in between to
Exactly.
spitter it out.
So it
Got
might
it.
spit a little bit. So now at this point, we've got all of the faucets. So now we'll go ahead and head inside and turn off the pump.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and do that. So at this point, what I like to do is come back to the gallon of antifreeze and pull out the hose so that it's going to suck air. And that way, we're not creating a mess under there with all the extra antifreeze that's kind of pouring out.
Gotcha.
So then I'll open up a faucet, let it run until it gets all the pressure off, just like that. Then we'll turn off our water pump, which is just right inside here. And now we'll disconnect. And I always like to reset the valves down here. That way the customer will be able to pull from the fresh tank without coming down here again.
Very smart.
So I will open up that valve and close the Winterize valve. And then we can go ahead and put this panel back on.
And Jesse, as you were saying previously, no two trailers are the same in that the water pump is stored in a myriad of different locations.
Exactly.
So before we started filming this, we actually did a run through of the RV to try to figure out where it was at first. So we weren't just shooting in the dark, and we missed a couple times. So it's good to know that they're located in interesting places for sure.
Definitely. And when we were on the outside looking for those things, it's good to keep an eye out for the freshwater inlet, because the water pump may be behind that. And it's good to look out for the outside part of the water heater, because in some cases the water pump is located near the water heater.
Really solid advice there for sure.
So let's see, what did I do with my screw gun?
Right here.
Oh, it's outside. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead and put this panel back on. So the last couple steps are going to be unplugging the water heater and getting any water that's left on the city water connection. So after I get this panel back on, we'll go ahead and check that out. All right.
Jesse, is there a time which you recommend people start getting their RV ready for the season, or is it after the first freeze, or more just when you're ready to go?
I would say after your last camping trip of the summer,
Okay.
Go ahead and get ahead of it and winterize it. If you wait all the way until the first freeze, then a lot of other people are trying to winterize at the same time. But if you're doing it yourself, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's what the question
you
is
could wait
based
till
off
the last minute, essentially. Yeah.
So you guys get pretty busy around this time of the year
Definitely,
because
definitely.
okay, and that's good to know for everyone out there, because they're gonna get slammed because everyone wants it all at the same time. So
Exactly. That's what we're dealing with now.
for sure.
So, I haven't really seen this hose setup. I'm not sure what he's got going here, but basically what I'm gonna do is just unplug this fitting and let all of the water drain out.
Okay.
So I'll grab my tools for that. And then the other last step is just to bleed off any of the water that's on the city water inlet. So our city water inlet's gonna be over here. And basically for this guy, so we've got another fitting here we'll have to disconnect. So here's our city water inlet. I'll just pop this little filter off and then just depress this little fitting until it runs pink. So that's all you have to do. Just push that in with a screwdriver and get all the extra water out. That way that doesn't freeze in the winter time.
Very clever. It's good to know.
And that's about it. Our last step is just to drain that water heater. So this is a little tricky. There should be an anode rod plug here, but the customer kind of put this plug here instead. So that's a little bit different than it might typically be. But basically you'll just have a plug here. You need to disconnect this plug and then let the water out. A good key thing to remember here is that if you take the plug out before bleeding off the pressure, the second you get the plug out, it will spray water all over you, basically.
Gotcha.
So it's good to come up here, bleed any pressure that's in the water heater off by opening up this little tab, and then open up this plug and we'll let it drain out. There wasn't a whole lot of pressure on this one, but it's just a good thing to keep in mind.
Really solid advice.
So now we'll go ahead and close that up, and then we could head on to the fifth wheel.
Perfect. Thank you, Jesse.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, we'll head on to the next one. We'll catch it.